Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another show, another episode, another post-game show, another game-winning post-game show. It's the celebration night. We are Grizz 901, and I am Daniel Greer. Nate's going to be joining me very, very shortly. Thank you for joining us. As always, we are a part of Bluff City Media, and we can't thank you for being here enough. This is going to be a fun episode. Listen, this wasn't supposed to be a Grizzlies win. Ja is in a sling. Everybody's worried. Everybody's freaking out. Xavier Tillman comes in this game, plays 3 minutes, and we never see him again. We're not exactly sure if he is alive. We're going to put out a search for him just to make sure he is still with us. But listen, the Grizzlies win 121-116. It was a game where they finally got back to a little pace, a little space. We're going to recap the game completely, top to bottom. Second segment. I have a sneaky Grizz trivia for us tonight. We're going to go back to the draft, so make sure you stay with us there. We're going to dig in a little bit more to the game, that second segment. The third segment. You know what's in the third segment. We're going to preview the Mavericks, and we're going to let you know exactly how they did tonight. But that's it. That's the show. Do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button over at Bluff City Media YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, it's easy. Like and share. That's it. Let's get to Nate. Yo! This is a dub celebration night. What's up, man?
Dude, I thought that was a really good game, actually. I thought it was pretty good all the way through. The end of the third quarter was pretty rough, but I hear there's people that hate Jaren again. Is that a thing? Like right now, people hate Jaren? That's listen, I know Goon's our guy, and he's allowed to kind of do whatever he wants on the show, but there's other people that hate Jaren and aren't just trolling us.
Well, listen, we're gonna get to the comments very, very shortly. I don't know. Let's just be honest. Tonight, I was completely off of Twitter. I was very much. I'm still lost in a sense. I don't know, but I did see that. Listen, we got our guy King Meeks. God, dog, we got to quit pushing the buttons.
We've been friends for too long at this point.
Yeah. And little LOL. Nope. Jones. God, dog it. All right.
I got it.
Thank you.
I got you, dog.
Anyway, these guys, they like Jaren. Even the Grizzly Grizzette likes Jaren. I'm not sure. Even Allen. Shout out to Allen. Even Allen thinks Jaren is underpaid. Yep. All right. I'm not sure exactly about tonight. I'm going to go scroll back up to the top and see if anything else is out here. But I did see this one. I don't know if I've ever seen you. God, what is it? How do I say it? All right. Don't tell me. Rise 77. Vince is a god. Like, I hope I'm right.
I don't know on that one. I think it could have gone either way, Rise or Riz.
I just think the R, it looks like it's strong. Like I want to rise. Like anyway, Vince is a god. We're going to talk about Vince Williams so much in this episode. I love Vince Williams. He is that dude. He's a guy that brings the energy, the effort, and he allows for pace and space in this game. We're getting into a time where this team might be finding themselves. And I told you right before they went on this long road trip, or this 3-game road trip, this could be a chance where you hang out with your buddies. Something happens. It starts clicking. You tell stupid stories. You have these stupid inside jokes, and you eventually bond closer than ever. This might be a trip for Trip. See what I did there? All right. Come off the top rope, Nate. What's your thoughts on the game?
Dude, I just thought it was a really good game. I just genuinely enjoyed the game. Like, it was one of those where at the end, I was like, no matter how this goes, I'm not going to blame the refs.
Yeah.
I thought there was a couple of times I would have done something different, but I didn't think the coaching got super goofy for the most part. Like, honestly, Santi and Z killed you for a stretch. And outside of that, it was like there's not much you can do. I saw some people questioning like the closing with Kennard. Zaire instead of Kennard, but I actually thought that made a lot of sense tonight. Kennard was hitting his threes, which is obviously great, but he's just a traffic cone out there, and he can't really do much. And defensively, I thought Zaire did well tonight. So obviously you want to come away with a win, and you leave a lot happier with a win. But dude, like, I would have been really happy with the Grizzlies' effort that game, no matter what way that went. But dude, the biggest thing is, man, Jaren Jackson Jr. It's hilarious because I wasn't on Twitter at all during the game tonight. I hopped on like maybe for a second after halftime because I'd missed a little bit of the third.
That's the same. I'm asking where Xavier Tillman was because I was like looking. I'm like, all right, I see.
You do know he played again in the third quarter, like
he
just
did?
for a second at the very end of the third quarter. He came in and played. He closed out the third quarter, last defensive possession. That's
3
all
minutes.
he did.
3 minutes is all I see.
He came in for 20 seconds. That's what I'm telling you. He came in for 20 seconds. But he did come in again, so he's not an in and out. He might be now, but he wasn't. But he wasn't hurt, so I know that was a question that you had asked. But I saw earlier in the day that people hate Jaren again. And I'm like, really? Right now? Is it just because he likes Taylor Jenkins, so people hate him? Is that why people hate Jaren now? Because, listen, what a day for Jaren hate to be a conversation on Twitter when he drops 28 and 10 and 6 with, I haven't even looked at his defensive stats yet, a block, team high plus 25, closely followed by one Vince Williams. And he did it when he had to match up against Nurkic sometimes, who, again, I despise Nurkic just having to watch him play basketball, but he's a really good basketball player, and he's a bully ball player. So that's 2 in a row, AD and Nurkic, who normally would be the kind of guys you say you worry about Jaren against. Yeah. Shows up, plays awesome.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the stats in general, Nurkic had a double-double in the first. With 19 rebounds and 18 points. Like, he still had a great game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is, like, you can now afford to let these guys, they end up having great games, but you can survive because of it. That's the difference. And I think that's what we haven't had in the past is we couldn't survive these big games out of these big guys. And even now only, playing, Xavier Tillman 3 minutes and 20 seconds, only playing him that, but then having, Biyombo playing very well against his old team. He had 3 big blocks in this game, I believe. He might have had more that he snuck in that I didn't see, but that happening, Biyombo stepping up was big as well tonight.
Yeah, well, and after Tillman started, like that's the stuff where I'm like, dude, what are we doing? Like, what's happening here? But the big thing is not that other bigs have big games. Like, you don't have the size to keep Nurkic off the glass, right? Even Jaren, as big and strong as he is, as much as I think he should be able to match up strength-wise against guys that he doesn't sometimes, Nurkic is not that type of guy that he's going to just bully around. Yeah. The big thing is that they don't make Jaren have an off game. Like, Jaren still gets his, which is the thing that I thought was the biggest. Like, AD's going to get his. Nurkic's going to get his. Jokic's going to get his. The big thing is that Jaren still gets his. Still has to quit fouling.
Yeah.
At the same time, dude, awesome game. When he was on the court, he didn't hang his head. He got after it, and he was he was the difference for them tonight.
Yeah. Speaking of the difference, Jaren Jackson Jr. with the beautiful coat. I had to give it to him. Player of the game, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 long balls. Jaren Jackson Jr., the Grizz 901 player of the game. He played very well, and he was the deciding factor of this game. Like, he really was. When he went out with the foul trouble, you could see the kind of the swing just because we needed him. If not, you had Biyombo only, right? Because you weren't going back to X for whatever reason. And so really it was a Santi experience to which he ran out and threw the ball straight out of bounds over Desmond Bane's head for whatever. Like, that's just doing too much. I'm not going to hate somebody for trying and doing too much, but you have to understand you can't allow yourself to get caught up and do something stupid like that because those are thrown away possessions. But Jaren, the Grizz 101 player of the game, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 3-pointers. What's your thoughts, Nate?
My main thought is, you or me, who's pulling off that coat better?
It's got to be you. I don't know. It's long.
Are you saying you're too classy of a broad?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I am way too I'm way too white for that.
Like I'm just dumb enough. I think I could make it work.
Your personality does better for that than me. I'm just a big dumb animal just walking in with that.
No, like I said, he was a difference maker for them tonight. Like, it's so frustrating when he has to go out with those fouls because he makes such a difference on the floor. And this game, it was both ways. I thought he made more of an impact on offense than he did on defense, and he's still making that impact on defense every night. So, just unbelievable, dude. And you having him be able to step up like that, and be pretty much a 1A tonight, right?
He was
invaluable for this team, and then to step up and have the whole team step up with Ja out and needing him to kind of lead the charge is so good to see. So, like I said, him and his play against 2 bigs in a row that I would expect to give him trouble is beyond encouraging for his trajectory. You still need some size next to him, but you get Biz just holding enough, like just doing enough and holding his own. It's going to be good. Maybe the Grizzlies can get something done to get someone next to him.
Yeah, Jaren with a great game. It made me nervous for a while because of the foul trouble, but in the end, the coat and all, the Grizz #1 player of the game, Jaren Jackson Jr., 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 3-pointers. And what I'm seeing in the chat, Nate, from our guy Chris, Nate's living in the cold, so he gets first dibs.
Here. I appreciate it.
Let's get to some of these comments. I want to get back to. Let me back it up. All right, I don't know this guy's name. I've never seen you, so I wanted to make sure I gave you a shout out. Who had a 3-0 road trip, bro? You're telling me like this would be clutch. I don't want to say your name because I don't know. Is it BM? But I don't want to say BM up. But yeah, that's what it looks like to me. 3-0 road trip. But the other one is everyone's overreacting to the sling for Ja. I agree. What it is if the reason you put your arm in a sling is to take the pressure off of your arm hanging, because if you have a shoulder and you put it here, it holds it here so it doesn't have all that pressure here. Listen, I'm no doctor.
Okay, Dr. Daniel.
But I did
Dr. Dan. What movie is that?
I stayed at Holiday Inn Express
Dr.
once,
Dan.
and like literally I watched the TV. It was great. But yeah, no, that's all that is.
Well, I am curious. Do you know what happened? Like when it happened or anything? I don't remember anything happening in the last game.
It doesn't take much for big dunk, maybe that you're slamming hard, or maybe get thrown down.
I was wondering if something happened that I had missed, because I was like, I don't remember anything happening. But yeah, it can just always happen. I literally tore my rotator cuff diving back into first base. So stranger things have happened.
All right, I got a couple things real quick in the comments. All right, so Shane tells me this. Beam me up for that guy's name, dude. Clutch. First of all, Shane, and the other one was the person we brought up that I've never seen, Reese instead of like Rise. Reese. That actually makes so much more sense. So somebody else put that in the chat. I can't remember who it was. Shout out to y'all being much smarter than we are.
I don't know. You're the amazing speller, apparently. That's so you say. Shout out to Goon. I appreciate the courtesy. Jaren played like trash. We're glad we won. Glad you're here as always. Followed quickly up by Grizz Company Man, who's coming back out of the woodwork. Good to see you again. This is actually your beef, is what I was bringing up earlier, seeing people hating on Jaren. What a day for that. So good to see some people back in the chat. This I love.
Yes.
That Bane follow-up. Listen, it was not his best night scoring-wise. He still did a lot of good stuff throughout the game, but dude, he showed up when it mattered, and that dunk was the beginning of it. It was awesome. And is the last guy you expect that. Like, you expect him to maybe like run up, get it, lay it off the glass, and he just pumped that thing in. It was awesome.
Yeah. Listen, I agree, man. That came out of nowhere, and you can kind of see it coming because it kind of opened up a little bit, and then you saw him, the only guy moving, it looked like, and was just coming out of nowhere with that putback dunk. And they were talking about on the broadcast that was like the first putback dunk of the year. I don't believe that. I do think that's Bane's first putback dunk of the year, but I don't know if I remember another one. But Sanji's had so many up there, just random ones that I can't imagine.
dude
Yeah.
smoked a tip in. He smoked about everything tonight.
I got a
let's talk
question.
about
Go ahead. I was going to ask.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We got dog.
Dr. Dan.
Yeah.
That's not it. I know what you're talking about, but that's not it.
I want to ask about this. I don't know if this is what you were getting back to. Who's harder to stop? KD, Booker, Bill, Luka, Kyrie, because we're about to go up against the Mavs and Luka and Kyrie. If you had to actually choose KD, Booker, Bill, Luka, and Kyrie, and chat, listen, let me know. I have my thoughts on this because of what I see. Who's your guy out of these five? You had to pick one harder stop. I'm guessing we're saying.
I think he's saying the combo of those three or those two. And the answer is Luka and Kyrie because of Luka. Luka changes the game on every level. And you just like KD when he gets to his spot murders you. Yeah. It's like anytime he misses that pull up, I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do. Luka, when he gets to his spot, might throw it off your head to a guy wide open in the corner who's going to drill a shot and kill you. You know, it's just different. Like KD still can kill you, but I don't know. Like the Booker and Beal thing, I wasn't moved by that when they got the Beal trade this summer. And I'd still not moved. I think the thing with Beal is like, hey, he's going to come in, and because he's not the 1A guy, yeah, it's true. It's actually hot chocolate. So shout out Sarah. She's the best.
Everybody in my house is asleep.
Yeah. Not ours. We got boards to study for. But the Beal efficiency thing hasn't panned out. And with Booker and KD, it's a little bit of your turn, my turn type stuff, which they are both amazing. At the same time, Luka gets the ball in his hands, and then the whole team just gets better around them, left and right. You know, so I just think Luka is on another level than honestly pretty much anyone in the NBA other than Jokic at this point. And I think they're neck and neck. I said at the beginning of the year, if that Mavs team was anything other than straight up trash, he should be number one in MVP, and they are good. Yeah. Only when he plays, right? Like they Trailblazers without him, but okay, we beat the Trailblazers when we were 1-17 or whatever it was. So they're both really, really hard to stop, but I have to go with Luka.
Luka is, I was going to say, if it was one-on-one, I'm taking Luka just because his size and what he can do, even though KD's awesome. The reason I say that is because he's younger than KD. He seems to be, I don't know, more locked in right now than KD is. Luka, in my opinion, Luka is one of my favorite players outside of the Grizzlies organization to really watch. And I hate that he complains so much, but the dude, he's a scoring machine, man. He is a scoring machine.
Let's bring it back to the Grizzlies, though.
Yep, let's go ahead.
We've gotten away from the point of the show for too long, which is that the Grizzlies, for the second game in a row, even without Ja Morant, look like they know who they are. That's huge to me. Like, that was a big thing we said about the Lakers win, was it wasn't a big come from behind or they came from behind and you barely held on. It was back and forth, and then you as a team did what you wanted to do to close. And the Grizzlies did that again. Of course, they had to come roaring back at the very beginning of the fourth to make that a game again. That happened. At the same time, the Grizzlies did what they wanted to do at the end of the game. For the second time in a row, against a team that, even though, again, I'm not super moved by that trio, that's a tough team to go in and beat on the road. That's so huge for this team to look like that. To look like that in the win. You know who you are. You got to your spot. You got to your guys. You ran your plays. It's massive, right? And without Ja Morant on the second one, makes it even better. Yep. So after the Raptors game, I was about as out on the season as I could have been. I was like, dude, if you're dropping games looking like that to that team, that's just inexcusable. And then the bounce back with two massive wins on the road with the chance to follow it up with another big one in Dallas against that duo we were just talking about. could be a real turnaround type moment. You could be right. You could have been onto something for once.
I didn't like that backhanded compliment, just so we're on the same page.
I don't care.
Didn't like it. I appreciate it because it's the truth, but I didn't
Everyone
like it.
knows you're the a-hole. It's been documented.
Listen, I'm no average Joe, but I promise you, I am an a-hole. Let's go ahead and get to this comment I want to bring up right here. Does Vince remind you of James Posey a little bit? Nate has no idea who James Posey is, but James Posey,
chill.
James Posey,
I can't contribute.
Was a Mr. I don't know, like he could knock down a three. He was a little bit longer. He was a very good defensive player. He was a guy that was the Mr. Do Something before Mr. Do Something of Anthony Melton. And he does remind me of that. And he just plays like, I don't know if James Posey was as long. It just seems like Vince is just so long. Like his arms, I don't know how long his wingspan is. He just looks like he's just longer than Posey was. But all in all, they play the same type of game. So King Meeks, shout out to you, man. That's what I see with that. But tonight, what I want to ask you about is the 3-pointers. The Grizzlies. Do you know how many 3-pointers they took tonight?
No, I do not.
If you had to guess.
47.
Dude, you're so close. 49. 49 of the 97 that we made. Like, I don't understand that. And I know this team wants to be more, and I say pace and space, but 49 just doesn't make sense to me. And I know we shot fine, 34%. It's not great, but it's okay. It's winnable. But 49 just does not make sense to me. And I don't know, like, if you look at the one of the last plays of the game with Jaren, when we were up by 3, I believe, and we had a chance to really go up, more than that. And he took that long 3 with, I think it was like 4 or 5 seconds left on the shot clock. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, and I know everybody can say that's coaching. Dude, that is him doing him. Like that just is. And he thought, I'm feeling it. He's, Nurkic is expecting me to go back to that same thing he just did, which is probably true. But you could still get by Nurkic. People collapse. Then you have an open 3 with maybe 1 or 2 seconds left. You're talking about just a few. But, man, I don't love it. But we're shooting okay. But, when Marcus Smart, he took, I know he had 13. At least take 13 3-pointers. That's ungodly. And Santi Aldama 1 of 7, Zaire 1 of 5. Like, I don't like it. I don't understand it.
Well, they don't. If they're not taking layups, they're shooting a 3. Like, no one's taking a mid-range shot on this team, which, to be honest, outside of Dez and Luke, and then you could throw in, like, on another night, Ja or even Jaren, when he pulls every once in a while something at like the top of the key, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But nobody else is doing that. And then nobody's going to the rim to score. Like, we finally saw Vince create a little bit and get to the basket, which I was so good to see.
Yeah.
It was so good to see. I was so happy to see it because he constantly gets in the paint and then looks for somebody to pass it to when he could get a shot up. That's part of the curse of knowing your role, which, again, is why we love him so much.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys, they get into the paint to pass it out, right? If they don't have a layup, they are getting in there to pass it out. And then you have certain things where guys are non-threats. Like, certain guys under the basket are just non-threats, right? Like, Biz. Biz gets in the paint. You can say, hey, he's got to go up with it. There is a zero times where I think Biz going up is for sure going to be a bucket. Doesn't matter how close to the rim he is. Doesn't matter who's guarding him. Like, dude, it's 0. And so after that, it's like, hey, pass it out to the 3. It's a good open shot, right? And the truth is, guys taking them now. Like, we had in 3 minutes, we still had an X3. But generally speaking, it's too many. But I think that's more a product of they wanted to take away Desmond Bane. They wanted to take away what the Grizzlies like to do, and so the guys took the open shots. And listen, Marcus Smart still made 4 threes tonight. Luke's 3 for 3. Jaren made 3. Vince made 3. The problem is they don't get to what they really want to get to often enough. And that was my only issue from tonight was, like, Desmond Bane, I don't remember him getting to a mid-range jumper tonight. He might have. I might have just forgotten it, but I don't remember him getting to one. And, like, that's a shot
Smart
that you want.
Smart did a lot.
To a mid-range jumper?
No, I wouldn't say jumper, but he was getting into the interior, which he was backing down, taking those backup shots around the free throw line. It's still a mid-range jumper.
No, you misunderstand what I'm saying. Desmond Bane mid-range jumper.
Oh, okay.
No one else. Because that's a shot that gets Des going and is a high percentage shot for him. And when he only has 10 shots in the middle of the third quarter, and then I think at that point Smart had 11, Jaren was the only other person ahead of him, you've got to get him some shots. And that's an easy shot to go get him, right? So that was my only complaint from tonight. But other than that, man, like I said, they're going to figure out they're shooting too many threes. But when Ja's back, it's easier to get the right guys shooting those threes in the right moments and in the right spots. And so, yeah, I really don't have anything to complain about tonight. I don't want to talk about the negative too much because I didn't think there was much to take away from this game other than the Santi stuff's got to get figured out.
Yeah, let me hit on this for Shane real quick. Vince is limited to 50 games with the team because he is on the two-way, and so the 50th game of the season, which I know he's been out a few, but the 50th game of the season is the February the 4th. If that brings into context. He obviously missed the last 2. I believe there's probably been maybe a handful of other ones. So you probably buy yourself an extra 3 or 4 or 5 games, I'd imagine. So you're probably going to get into the trade deadline is what you're looking at. Like, because from the 4th, which is the 50th game, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 games left. So you're looking at pretty much the trade deadline at that point. And so I know some people have wondered about that. I think it's a non-issue now because if they had to set him a game or 2, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Okay. But I know he's missed at least 2 just on this recent trip. And I'd imagine in the very beginning, he wasn't playing as much either. So I'd imagine he wasn't, he didn't play one up, but it's all about being active though, too. So even if he didn't play, he was active. And so it really just depend on the injury report. But we're close enough to the trade deadline at that point that I think they could either set him a game or 2 just until a trade does happen before they could sign him. They're going to sign Vince. There's zero chance that you don't sign him. For the trash that they signed for longer, they're going to sign Vince. I promise.
Dude, I will personally kidnap Jake LaRavia and send him to China. if that's what we have to do. Just kidding. For all the FBI agents that tune into the show, I won't do that. I live in Utah. It's too expensive to get to Memphis anyways.
I want to talk about Vince though. Some of those hustle plays down the stretch are huge because those tap out for the rebound, that layup that one time, all the different things that he did. I wanted to make him the player of the game tonight. I just couldn't get past what Jaren did and the effect he had in the game. So I don't want to go through the stats tonight. We're literally halfway through the show already just by, oogling all over this game tonight. But you have to sometimes, man. It was fun. But yeah, did you see as Keith asked, did you see the Zaire shot chart tonight? I did not.
I saw what Keith Parrish put on Twitter with a no, yes. If that's what you're talking about, or no, sorry. Okay, yes. I saw that, but if you're actually asking about an actual shot chart,
I didn't see it.
I did not.
He took 10 shots tonight, 4 10, 1 of 5 from deep. And so I don't know. I still think he is too slow just in general. He does take some good. He plays okay, plays within himself at times, but 27 minutes for him, I didn't love. I don't know why they went with that. Maybe because of the length of the defense, maybe. But that's what kind of I'm looking at tonight.
He didn't kill you tonight, though, either. He was a bit of a net neutral, I thought, and then defensively maybe could have made him a plus. But he didn't kill you. Which, to be honest, like having the really good Zaire games is fantastic. But for the most part, you just want him to go out there and not crush you. Yeah. And he did that. And so I didn't mind what I saw from Zaire tonight. He had some really bad moments. He had a couple of good moments. And that's going to be what you normally get out of him. The David Roddy DNPs break my heart, but
Mm.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. Like he's had his opportunities this year to earn his time on the court, and he hadn't taken advantage of them. So, Zaire has performed more than Roddy has, which is unideal, right? And then Vince obviously is coming in, but I saw the turnovers thing. That was a huge issue, and all that to say, same thing as a game against the Lakers. When it got tough and when it got tight, the Grizzlies tightened up and executed. You know, they were turning it over all game, and then they had 7 in the third or something like that. And then I think they had like 2 in the fourth. You know, and then all of a sudden the Suns are turning it over. So there's stuff they've got to clean up. There's stuff they've got to figure out. But just the general execution and consistency and identity from the past 2 games is something we haven't seen from this team all year.
I agree.
And it's huge.
Yeah. With the obviously the Mavs coming up, and then the schedule doesn't lighten up. They do come home, which realistically that would be good, but it hasn't been good. I don't know why the Grizzlies have not been good at home this year in the Grindhouse.
Too many kids.
I'm hoping it changes, but my God, it makes me so mad.
Too many kids, man.
But
Dad got a kid.
Yeah,
you
talking about
got
the
a
Mavs.
kid. X got kids.
Yeah, it's true. Mavs next game, obviously on the road Tuesday night. Then you have the Clippers at home, Knicks at home, Warriors at home, and then you go back to on the road to play the Timberwolves and the Bulls, Raptors, Heat. Another 4-game stretch there. So, listen, it doesn't get easier, but it does say that if you're able to play with the pace, that's what I saw tonight, and that's what I think Brevin even talked about that early on. Is can this team continue to play with the same pace as they were with Ja when Ja played last game, where they were actually pushing the ball? I think they can. That tonight they showed that when they got it, they were instantly moving. The ball popped around a little bit more than normal. Probably that's because Ja's now that he wasn't playing, which the ball does move more without him, not in a negative way. It's just it does. But tonight it looked like the pace was there, and then you start getting those hustle plays, and then you start getting some momentum because that third quarter it looked like they were shutting down, and that's what the biggest thing is. Once you get to that point where, like, my God, you're just taking on water, and you can't figure out how to pull the plug. Finally, something happened, and it was just one of those things where maybe they survived it, got to the fourth quarter, and then you're going, because it was late in the third quarter. They were getting that tsunami in their face.
Yeah, and they couldn't find a way to score, and it was all stalled out. That was the Santi minutes just crushed you tonight. Santi's a guy who has to be a rotation guy for you. And him playing himself off the court is just killer. And he played himself off the court tonight. I didn't think the Suns did anything to play him off the court. I think he just didn't show up with his best stuff. It's going to happen. But like you said, they survived it. And then same thing, they knew who they were. And they got to what they needed to get to, and they rallied back. And so, listen, I'm super encouraged by this team. And the fact you stole these couple that I was super worried about coming into, especially off the terrible momentum from that Raptors loss, helps you be able to go into this tough stretch, one, with confidence, because you've already shown on the road in 2 tough environments, you can compete with anybody when you're clicking, when you've got your guys. And against the Mavs, listen, I think the Mavs on the road are going to be a much tougher matchup than either one of these teams were on the road, but these 2 teams are still tough teams to beat on the road, and you get your guy back to go in and give everything he's got against the Mavs. So we'll see if they can pull off this win in Dallas. I think you could see this team catch some real fire and really get cooking. So we'll see. But this game is super, man. We've already talked about some of the analytical part of it, but I just think eye test looks like a completely different team than even against Toronto, man. It's good to see.
It is very good to see. Let's. I'm going to end this on a good note before we get to our first segment, or the second segment, first break. But the Grizzlies have 46 games remaining, and I think that's important to kind of look at this. With 46 games remaining, the Grizzlies are now 13-23. If you're talking about just getting back to 500, right at the end of the year, the Grizzlies need to go 28-18 right?
Mhm.
I like looking at those numbers. They keep looking better at times. If they can get all, push some wins together, that's when you start adding it all up. And you're talking about 28-18 sounds doable, especially for this type of team. So I do think it's a point where these Grizzlies can kind of put it all together. But as D'Angelo says, maybe they watched the show. So how pissed we were after that, right? The Raptors game. Sorry, I almost said
You're
Lakers
welcome.
game. Yeah.
I was a little upset.
A little.
I was a little upset.
All right, let's get to our first break. I don't know if we've shown this one on here so far. This is Brevin Knight. This is a little bit longer one, but we'll be back here in about 1:44.
I also see the game a little bit differently than everybody else. Like I don't put a lot of, I guess because when you're a journeyman role guy like myself in the league, the feeling side of it, I don't really get wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we get too many people, the feelings get so wrapped like you're doing something to somebody. Like it's personal. And this is a business, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I try to tell all these young guys when you come in. The sport of basketball stops once you become a pro.
Yeah.
It becomes the business of basketball.
Yeah.
Make sure that you got guaranteed contracts. That's what I tell everybody. Don't get wrapped up on this team that's on the front, because this can change. You just want to make sure that this Jerry West logo, I got this little Nike. You want to make sure that Jerry West is on your jersey.
And there's not an iron on.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. That is sold in.
Yeah.
That's what you have on you. And if you can keep that mindset, then you can, all of the outside bullshit, you won't even worry about what this person said about him. People look at me and say, I done had to do 5'10", play 12 years in the NBA. Wasn't no big time scorer. Dude just was a good guy that played on his team. His teammates knew that he was going to be there for him. I wanted the next guy to be just as good. I wanted him to eat. What was my role going to be on that team? And then in the summertime, I go kick on people's ass in the summer. Yeah. And people always say, man, why you don't do this when you go back to the league? They don't ask me to do this.
Right. You doing what's keeping that logo on your chest.
I'm doing what's keeping this logo right here. And then when I come in the summer, we're going to get it in. That keeps my juices flowing until the next time.
That's what's up, man.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, we are back. This is the Grizz 901 show. All your post-game shows after each and every game. Celebrating the big wins. Make sure you do us a favor. Hit the like button if you don't mind. If you are a person that's watching on YouTube, if you're not, join us as well. But if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to that while you're here. It's free. If you want to join the Discord membership, it is $5 a month. You can find it over at bluffcitymedia.co. Also, check out the merch at bluffcitymerch.com. And last thing, if you're watching on Twitter, thank you as always. Our biggest show last game, it was ginormous. We had a lot of likes, a lot of shares. But if you're on Twitter, go ahead and like and share that. Or is it like and repost, whatever it says?
Well, it's X, first off, Daniel.
It's still Twitter. I think it says Twitter at the top, twitter.com, whatever. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get to Grizz trivia. This might be fun for you all because there is so many answers to this one. So many. This is a draft question. If you are a draft nerd, you might actually get this. Nate is not, so I knew he would not get this one. But if you could, go ahead and hit us in the chat. I want to see if anybody knows. This is the first team I thought of, and so I thought it might be pretty easy, but let's see, Nate. Out of all of the Grizzlies, both Vancouver and Memphis, all of the players they've ever drafted or had a draft night trade to which they were going to be on their team. Okay, because I hate the stupid rule where they put on the dumb hats, whatever. They were actually going to be on the team. Out of all the draft picks, what college has been the most drafted players to the Grizzlies? There's been a lot. There's been so many. So many.
I mean,
there's only been one VCU. There's only been one Wake Forest.
This feels...
It's almost too easy.
I wonder if it's a reason. Is it Michigan State?
As Smooth Southpaw says.
Hey, let's go.
It's not right. It's not right.
Oh, dang. I don't know. I was like, that seems like it would be really straightforward. Hold on. Don't tell me yet.
King Meeks?
Let me see.
Shout out, my guy. Shout out.
Did Meeks get it?
Meeks got it. LOL.
Okay, I already
Nope.
saw his comment thing.
LOL. Nope. Jones did not get it. It is from King Meeks. It is Kansas. The four players. They were. I don't think any of them were for King Kleiman at all. But it was Drew Gooden back in 2002, 2008 Jerrell Arthur, 2010 Xavier Henry, and then 2011 Josh Selby. And you know they probably all had parents that were athletic, right? And they all had to be drafted by whatever his face was.
Who was Michigan State second?
Michigan State, I believe, was second.
Okay.
I have a random question. Any wrestling nerds in here? I have a random wrestling. Who is the only player that was a now professional wrestler that they drafted?
Did the Grizzlies draft it?
The Grizzlies drafted a now professional wrestler. Who?
I said to beat. That would be awesome.
It's close. It's close. He's actually, if everybody wonders, he's in AEW. He is a 7-footer, weighed in at 290 pounds. Big fella. Satnam Singh. So he is still wrestling professionally. I don't think he's very great at it, but he's a big fella. So I figured I saw that literally he's on my last one because he did not have a college. He's the only one that did not have any information on because I don't believe he's had any experience at all. So Satnam Singh was the guy, and he is now a professional wrestler over at AEW. But let's go ahead and get into
watch the beat wrestle though. Weirdly enough,
little story. So the beat. So I used to work at Enterprise Rent a Car back in the day, and I was there for it seemed like forever.
Sense.
Him and his boys, his cousins actually, used to rent vehicles from me on a normal basis. I get a call one time, a text actually says, "Do you want to go to the game tonight?" Yeah, why not? And I thought they were just going to give me tickets. He goes, "All right, we'll be there in 10 minutes to pick you up." What? So I literally got to go ride with them, his boys. We went down to the game, sat in the family section, and they took me back home at the local Enterprise, dropped me back off after the game. Very cool experience. I expected, hey, you're going to give me tickets, not, hey, I'm going to pick you up on the way in. I know that
you're riding with us tonight.
They were smoking it out, which they weren't supposed to do. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you just did what you had to do.
Yep, got that money. But all right, let's get into this team a little bit. You know, there's so many directions I want to go, but I want to know from you, like, what's making them click right now? Because I think that's such an open-ended question that I want to know what you think. Like, because I think that you could talk about multiple things, but any suggestions?
Taylor Jenkins, the GOAT. The GOAT.
And canceled.
Oh man. I don't know. I mean, I think that Raptors game was as ugly for them as it was for us. It was a bit of a come to Jesus moment. And like you said, I think Big Die sort of hits the nail on the head. You just see a lot of effort.
Yeah. You
see a lot of effort that wasn't there before. And I think that part of it is, again, come to Jesus moment after that Raptors loss. That's a loss you can't take. And you had a million ways to win it, and you still lost because you didn't take advantage of any of them. But I think they're consistent effort. There's no hanging their heads, which is huge. And everybody knows their role. That was what we talked about after the Raptors game. Yeah. I mean, we spent 20 minutes. It was half of my little rant that I went on was they don't know who's supposed to do what. Like, who's supposed to get the ball at the end of the game? What is your role? And it looks like a team that guys sort of know what they're supposed to be doing. They know when they're supposed to be taking their shots. And then you got guys who are playing that are just absolute hoopers, dude. Like Vince. Vince doesn't take the ball to the bucket, but tonight he said, hey, we got to get something going, and took the ball to the bucket. Listen, yeah, Taylor get on the floor, really like showing them the defensive technicalities. He's showing them the defensive fundamentals, and all of a sudden they've been able to lock teams up in the fourth. So
go. All right, as Big Guy says, the energy and the effort. I've been saying that for a while now. This team plays completely different when they do have the energy and the effort. When they're starting to move, when you catch the ball and you're moving, you're doing that. I'll give me a second. I know you want to go there. I know you want to talk about that you're bringing up next. But Steven Adams Stats just dumped a really good tweet out.
Shout out Funaki.
Jaren Jackson Jr. Listen, if you missed that episode, screw you. No, shame on you. But no, Funaki was amazing. He's probably as good of a human as he is an account on Twitter. Just being honest, he's a good dude. And so, or is he a girl? And he was using a voice inverter. I'm kidding. Okay. But Jaren Jackson Jr. and Vince tonight played 24 minutes together versus the Suns. The Grizzlies in those minutes plus 37, 80-43 to Memphis. A 150.9 offensive rating and an 89.6 defensive rating. That's a plus 61.3 net rating.
God.
And as LOL, nope, Jones says, shout out to Funaki. He's those dudes, Funaki, really good. All right, let's go ahead and get to yours. I know you want to get to it, so
I just want to say, King, that hurts. That hurts. Listen, Vernon did an awesome job on his show. No one's going to deny that.
Yes, he did.
But what he did was he took my rough draft.
Yes. Polished it up.
Workshopped it overnight. Turned into a full-on thesis on the show. Masterpiece, yes. But King, you're a fan of the show. It hurts. That's all I wanted to say. It hurts.
Listen, when you have 13 extra hours to prep,
yes,
it's easier, guys. I don't know if y'all know this. It's easier when you prep. I didn't do it very well in school. Honestly, was given a lot of the tests. But when I did have to prepare, I did better. I felt better about myself. When you have 13 extra hours to prepare, and you don't have to take no-dos, then you're doing better. You're going to be okay. But, listen, we're going off the cuff.
It's all good. It's just good to know. Listen, King, you're always welcome here. It's good to know Chris Vernon was also listening to the show, getting his ideas from us. It's perfect.
They don't want none. Smooth Southpaw, they don't want none. I don't know what
kind of Olympics.
I don't know what Olympics we're playing, but I think we got them.
Yeah.
I think we got them.
Have fun with that.
We might Chris can hoop. I'm okay with that. You can hoop. We can, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey also will just absolutely demolish us. They got a lot of people who are ex-athletes on there, dude. Go ahead.
Who?
Go ahead.
Who?
Go ahead.
Who's an ex-athlete?
I just gave you, dude.
Kelsey, that's it.
Didn't Jessica play?
No.
No?
No.
I thought she not basketball. I thought she just was an athlete.
I know. No, listen, we love Grind City Media. It would be an all good fun. And so it would be a good time. But listen, I'm down if we ever want to do that. It's always a good time. You don't want to be you don't want to get Chestered out here. I promise. It would be a good time. But let's go ahead and that. And if you're talking about Will Coleman, ask him about me. Lock that Boyd up. All right, let's get to the next break. But you can ask him about me. I lock him up every time we play. Let's go to the third segment. We're going to talk about the Mavericks coming up.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now, I might not like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man to say, this is how we think we're gonna play you, bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understand. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game.
Right.
All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man.
Yeah.
And now you got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly what. And if I'm out there doing it and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping his logo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, shout out to Sane. Make sure you go check it out. Tomorrow is Monday, but we have all the shows that are coming out. A lot of Tigers basketball you're going to see. They had a big win today. It was a close one for sure, but they had a big win. I think Quinterly hit that big shot down the stretch, which gave them the win there.
Same spot as the last game too.
Yeah. So JQ playing well for sure. We do have the Buffalo Bills just won 21-14. Just want to make sure we share that info.
That's too bad.
Completely forgot that they were even playing, honestly, for a while. But yeah, shout out to the Buffalo Bills. They won that division now. The East, the AFC East, they win with that. Wow, big game out of Josh Allen, 359 yards. All right, so let's talk about the preview of the Mavs, and we do have some comments. I haven't even looked at them real quick, but let me go through these for a second within the for the Mavs. They are 20. Where is it? Oh, there it is. 22-15. They're 6th in the West. They're on a 3-game win streak, and the Grizzlies are back 8.5 games in the Southwest Division. Anything that sticks out for you overall about the Mavs?
Yeah, the guy who's leading the charge. Luka's just a freak, dude. I mean, it's seriously, they've got good players, right? I mean, they've obviously got Kyrie Irving, and then not freaking Powell. Who's this? Who's the center? I'm blanking on the name. Who's the center they just drafted?
Lively, Derek Lively.
Thank you. Yes, he's awesome.
Dookie.
They've got good role players, but without Luka, it's just the train doesn't go, you know. And he changes the game. Like I said, he's been at the top of my MVP ballot. He's shooting like 38% from three, which is amazing as he's been from three with some of these shots in his career. He's never shot above like 34%, I think, in his career. So that's the guy. That's the guy. And listen, Vince Williams gave him some fits last time they played, and he still ended up dropping like 30 and 10 or something crazy on us. But you found your identity. You found your defensive identity. You found some stuff that works, found a way to get to the Jaren, Marcus, and Vince lineups and still find a way to score. And if Jaren keeps up what he's been keeping up, I like the Grizzlies' chances in that game. Just because Jaren, they still don't really have anybody for Jaren if he can stay on the floor and he's not slumping, right? So it seems like he's out of his slump as of these past couple of games. And then defensively, you know, Luka's going to get his no matter what. But if you can just bother him a little bit and then make it where he can't create great games for everyone else around him, then you feel a lot better about it. And so that's the key. Can you just bother him enough that he can't get everybody else going?
Yeah.
And if so, and if Jaren's clicking, I feel good. Plus, you got John Morant, who I still don't feel like we've seen him full force yet this year. And so we'll see. I feel pretty good having seen Jaren's play in particular. And obviously, Vince being an absolute freako, just an insane. He's just a crazy person, man. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of rebounding, that's what Big Di and D'Angelo are talking about as well. But we're going to talk about 3 people in the injury report. Derek Lively. It says estimated return date is January the 9th. He was out this past game. He was out tonight with an ankle injury. So they're expecting him to come back. Dwight Powell was in the starting lineup tonight. Maxi Kleber is going to be out for sure. He is already set to be out for the game. But then Dante Exum potentially could be coming back as well on Tuesday. So they could be getting back Derek Lively and Dante Exum back. But tonight, man, it was – as always, right? It was the Luka and the Kyrie show. Like they combined for 69 points tonight. Just those two dudes. Like incredible. Luka 34 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and Kyrie doing his Luka impression of 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. I don't know if you know this. Let me just read off this, and you can use this if you'd like. I think it's important, but if you're a betting person, since Kyrie has come back, Kyrie was out on 12-8, right? And he had 2 rebounds. It was just 13 minutes. Since Kyrie has come back on New Year's Day, let me read you his rebounding numbers. 9, 9, 9, and 8.
Really?
I don't know if that says anything to you, but when you're averaging that many rebounds against a team who doesn't rebound very well with the Grizzlies, if he keeps that up, I'd say go ahead and look at that number. I don't know what that number is, but if he has, if it's 6.5 or whatever, I would say hammer it. 7.5, you're probably feeling good about it, but I would go ahead and look at Kyrie double as well. So just my little thoughts on my betting.
I think that they underestimate, maybe you underestimate, crazy person Vince Williams flying in there for every rebound that comes off the rim. And then maybe we see the return of Desmond Bane rebounder. You know, I haven't seen any huge rebounding games out of Desmond Bane lately, but maybe we get that again. He was getting like 8, 10 himself at the beginning of the year. Maybe if he has to do a little less on ball with Ja around, he'll get it. He had the one big one tonight, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had a huge one. But I want to look at the last game that we played. It was early in the season, right? When the Grizzlies played it was I just lost the date now. It was very early on.
December 1st.
It was the 4th game of the season. 125-110. And it was honestly the Luka show. He went 35, 12, and 12, which was, big. We did not see Kyrie during that game. I believe he just got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. But Bane played well at 30 points. Jaren had 30 points. That's something to look at. He also had 9 rebounds in that game. There's no Ja, so Marcus Smart had 23 points, 9 assists. But then, like, you're talking about Vince Williams, he had 1 minute in that game. So that's going to be different. Is you're going to be able to put Vince on him, and I imagine you're probably going to play Smart on to start off the game on Luka.
They did play on December 1st as well, and I want to say they played against Cincinnati. I think this is the last game they have against them this year, if I'm not mistaken. Because Vince played 26 on December 1st. The Grizzlies won that, and then, the Mavs turned around and beat them 10 days later. So this will be their last matchup. This is their 4th matchup.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I didn't know they played that many. I was going back to the first one I saw. So this last
Vince
game,
got 26 minutes in each of those 2 games.
So this was the game that Jaren actually got in foul trouble, and the Grizzlies won.
Yeah. He got like 4 points.
4 points, 4 rebounds, 14 minutes, and then he had an incredible game the next game, I believe. Weirdly enough, I believe it was the Suns, if I'm not mistaken. But Vince played well, 9 rebounds from that game. So listen, this could be a game that it is, coming down to rebounding just in general, but knocking down big shots is going to be great. There's going to be a lot of stuff that, this team really can be dangerous if they'll continue to play with that pace and allow them to, let Vince keep playing. Vince should be the first guy off the bench. If it's me, especially with Ja, I know that a lot of times it has been Santi. I think Vince was the first guy off the bench tonight. So Vince could really carve out a real role for him and being, the 6th man for this team.
Yeah, I don't want to see that Kennard start again.
Yeah.
I know with Ja back, it's inconsequential, but even if Ja wasn't back, I'd rather we didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I believe we get Ja back. I don't know why in the world Ja would not play. It doesn't make sense why he would play for sure. But I think that we'll get Ja back for sure. I think this team will get back healthy. I didn't see anybody going out except for X. He played that. You said there's 20 seconds there. So I don't know if he's going to be there or not, but we'll see. But anything else you have for just the tonight in general or anything coming up?
Big Biombo game. Oh, man. No, I hope not. Listen, I hope Ja's shoulder's good to go. I don't think it's anything like long-term or super serious regardless, but I hope it doesn't keep him out for this game because I think the Luka Ja matchup, especially with the way that the Grizzlies have played the past 2 games, could be a lot of fun. So I really hope he's there for it.
Yep, it's a 7:30 tip, so a little bit later than normal. It will be. I will not be at my house doing the show. I will be on the road. I have to go on a work trip, so I'll be from a local brewery somewhere. I'll be live. I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi doesn't suck. So if for some reason something goes bad, we'll see. And so we'll be on site somewhere doing the show one way or another. But that's all we have, man. I think this is a great win tonight. It was very much unexpected. It's on an NFL Sunday, kind of a snooze game in a sense at night on a Sunday night. But really, the Grizzlies turned up and kind of showed out tonight. So I'm excited about, what's coming, man. This team, if they continue to keep playing the way they're playing, they're gonna be fun. And I don't see any reason they can't go 28-18 easily. They should get 10 games up for sure. So,
Agreed.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all we have. It's been a great night as always. As LOL Nope Jones says, great win, great show. Appreciate it, man. If y'all could, like I said, please go hit the like button on the way out, as always. But we'll be back here Tuesday night, better than ever. Be nice and tell your friends.